So, a lot of people are trying to build sound booths in their studios in a do-it-yourself fashion, cheaply. And I did a lot of research before I went about it myself, and what I came up with was good enough that I wanted to make this video for those of you who are trying to do the same thing. Now, you're looking at my enclosure right now. I have this cloth decorating one. This is actually the door, and then there's a sound absorption pad on the left there. But that's the structure. I mean, it's about the size of a phone booth. It fits inside of this very small 7x7 room, which I use as a studio. Far too small for a listening space, but whatever. And I did it pretty cheaply. It was just a few $100s to build. And it's not just sound conditioned, but it's also soundproofed to an extent where I can record fairly high volume guitar in there and loud vocals and not disturb my upstairs neighbors, not disturb the neighbors next door. So I'm making this video to just show exactly what I did. So the four walls of this enclosure are each a door. I bought the doors from Lowe's Hardware at $20 each. Now, doors are hollow, but along the edge we have the framework, which is just soft pine, I think, and then there's also a door chock right around the door handle area. But these doors are uncut, so there are no door handle holes yet. You should be able to find these at any hardware store. So there's four of those. They're sitting on a carpet fragment, that white carpet down there at the bottom. I spent about $10 on a carpet fragment from a carpet store, which was about 3 times that length, and cut that piece. The whole structure sits on it, which helps to decouple the booth from the floor so that there isn't any low frequency transference from the floor into the booth. Also, the booth is not touching the wall, which helps for the same reason, same purpose. You can see the outside of the hinges in the door there. So, the front door here is only attached by the hinges and this eyelet screw. On the inside, it's actually a sliding bolt mechanism so that you can lock it whether you're inside or outside. And I put a handle in there for the ease of use. And we see that there's a hinge here. This was chiseled in so that it would sit flush, and then there's another one at the bottom. But the other 3 walls that you see here, and then in the back, I have a light in the corner there, and then this 3rd wall, those are bolted together. Autofocus has to work. Alright, so if we go to the back, you can see the joint, and the ceiling is there. That's 3/4 inch ply that I used to just cover the ceiling. And the joint all the way down to the floor. Use a lot of big, heavy screws that are as big as you can feasibly use for the project, because the more you use, the less rattling you will have, just like in a speaker enclosure. On the front, we have a bar here, which is cut to the length of the door minus the width of this piece of wood and this piece of wood, and another one up here, the top. And that keeps the 2 walls, left and right, from being an inappropriate distance from one another when the door is open or closed. So everything is bolted together, and then we also have some braces in place, which I put in there, and I'm not even sure that they're entirely necessary. And the ceiling, 3/4 inch ply. Simple enough. I already have some gear in here, but we can step inside. There's actually an excellent sound deadening effect, which is created by all of this pillow material that you see here. This is R4 insulation that has been hung and then stapled back with a staple gun using spare fabric that I had laying around. This is actually an old sheet, and this is some old felt from a Halloween project. And that worked out pretty well. And then ultimately, it deadens the sound excellently. I've had no problems with sonic isolation since I built the booth. Now, it's not useful as a live space by any means. It's just too small. The walls are parallel, and then of course with all of this insulation, there's just so much deadening that you're not going to get any useful room sound out of it. But it works for keeping everything isolated. And that's what I did. Thanks.